Tiana, and the university that I attend is UT Austin. And I went abroad in Florence, Italy. Yeah, through the school FUA.
Can you give some tips on surviving the first 2 weeks on site?
It definitely can be very overwhelming to just arrive in a new country, especially if you don't know very many people. But in those first 2 weeks, I think that the most important thing for me was just to be able to like explore, and I would leave my where I was living and just go on walks, and trying different foods and try new places. Find people that are also really interested in kind of exploring. So finding the friends that like, hey, like, do you want to like go grab dinner, and asking the resources that you do have for recommendations for different places, and then eventually you'll start to be able to explore and walk around and know where you want to go and what you want to figure out.
What was your favorite class and why?
Okay, my favorite class, it was called Food, Wine, in the City, and it was a walking class. So every week for 3 hours, a big group of us would meet up somewhere in Florence, and we would just walk the city with our teacher, and she would go through history of the city. She would go through the different like parts of the culture, a lot of things that like I would never have found out by myself. And we would just walk around for hours. And I like that was my favorite class because while I was walking, I made some really amazing relationships with the people that were in my class, people that I never would have like sought out otherwise. Um, and then we also got to do food and wine and coffee tastings, which was really awesome. And it kind of brought me a little bit closer to the city that I was studying in.
Can you tell us more about your housing and commute to school?
So my housing, I lived in what's called the social hub, which like I think CIS partners with them across different cities. The social hub has different home bases in multiple different cities across Europe. So even when you travel, you can go somewhere that you know will be safe and clean. And I chose to live there instead of living in an apartment because I really wasn't sure about my living situation and I wanted to get to meet as many people as possible. And that was a really great opportunity. It was very much like dorm style. But I honestly like that was what I needed, but apartments was also an option. And then my walk to school, um, for specifically my program, the university that I went through, FUA, had multiple campuses across the city of Florence. So one of my walks was like 10 minutes, the other one was about 30 minutes, but that honestly was the best experience ever because it got me out and I was walking throughout the entire city, um, like on a daily basis, which was pretty awesome. But also, like, you also have the option to take the bus or to bike. Um, but yeah, I chose to walk because that was one of my favorite parts of the day.
How did your on site director impact your time abroad?
It really made a big difference being able to connect with someone who had been there for so long, who had had so many students coming in and out, who had dealt with so many different um, situations. And my on site director made herself available every single day. We did daily excursions or weekly excursions to try restaurants, we had the gelato tasting. Like we would go to different parts and like locations in the city. We had like a little boat day, stuff like that. She really made my home city or my abroad city feel like home. And that was really awesome to just be able to have someone that I constantly, anytime, any day could reach out to and know that like I was being supported and being helped because of course it can be super overwhelming. And just to have that person to like lean on was just really awesome. I would just go and I would literally sit in like the lobby and whatever and just sit with her when she had like her office hours and we get a coffee and I'd be like, hey, can you give me four like cool places I could check out this week? Um, and that was really awesome. Yeah, that was really special.
What surprised you about your time abroad?
I think what surprised me was, I mean, I knew I was going abroad. I knew I was coming back in 6 months, but I never imagined how like connected I would feel to that place and that people there. of the people that were there because everyone else that was studying abroad was in the same boat as me. Had no idea what they were doing, was trying to make friends, and so everyone was so open and kind, and the relationships that I created, like even though I was only with a lot of them for 5, 6 months, are some of the strongest relationships in my life to this day. And my home city, I think about every single day. I like have already gone back there twice. Um, I brought my family there multiple times because it just feels like home. And I have friends that live in Florence that I met like while I was out. So I know that I have just another place in the world that like means so much to me that if I ever need to get away or need to go somewhere that feels just so safe, that I can always go back there. And that like I didn't really expect that when I was going in.